ClutchPoints.com's most overrated players in the NFL, and this one's really interesting.
Uh-oh.
Well, here we go.
I know who's going to be on this list from the Browns.
Well, there's a couple, but there's a lot of Cowboys, too, when you look at it. So Jamal Adams, number 1, safety. Odell Beckham Jr., number 2. Then you go Ezekiel Elliott, 3. Amari Cooper, 4. Dak Prescott, 5. So they don't like the Cowboys. And Jadeveon Clowney, 8. So the Browns and the Cowboys are dominating the Clutch Points most overrated players.
Listen, let me address the Cowboys first of all. The most overrated NFL franchise since the breakup of Jimmy and Jerry, without question, is the Dallas Cowboys. And that dates to the the mid-'90s. Johnson and Jones, phenomenal partnership. They build the Cowboys up from rubble. They win 2 Super Bowls together. Then Johnson and Jones part company, 2 giant egos, couldn't get along. The bootleggers boy comes in, Switzer, and grabs a ring somehow, some way. His players will say they did it in spite of him. So the Cowboys win 3 world championships in 4 years, 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. And really, Jimmy had a lot to do with that 3rd ring, even though he didn't get it. But after that 3rd Super Bowl victory, the one with the Steelers, O'Donnell handed it to the Cowboys. They have been absolutely, positively the most overrated team in the NFL and arguably in professional sports. So it doesn't surprise me when Dallas Cowboys are on overrated lists. However, for Dak to be that high on the overrated list, I mean, Dak Prescott is a heck of a player, and he was putting up ridiculous numbers last year when he got hurt. He was on his way to an MVP caliber season before he got injured. So I would say no to Dak being overrated. Zeke, yeah, maybe Cooper, yeah. As for the Browns, I mean, you figure Odell's going to be first on that list for Cleveland because of the fact that he hasn't really been dominant for this team yet. And there have been circumstances that have caused it, including injuries. But we haven't seen Odell Beckham Jr. dominating games like we were told we were going to see when he came from New York. So I could see why Beckham is the first Brown listed on the overrated list.
And, Clowney is another one. People look at him as a former number 1 overall pick, and they don't see the sack totals. And there are some things that he does that are very effective, though, as a defensive lineman.
Yeah, and here's the thing, too, about Clowney. And here's where I don't blame him. I think the path for Jadeveon Clowney to be overrated began when he was at South Carolina and destroyed the Michigan running back. And I'm sorry, I can't remember who it was. When he blew up the Michigan running back in the bowl game, that was such an iconic moment that all of a sudden, here comes Clowney. He's going to wreck the NFL because he made a play like that. And I think a standard was set for Clowney that maybe was almost impossible to reach, because every time you saw him play in the NFL, you're like, he's going to blow up backs and he's going to destroy quarterbacks like he did that Michigan running back. And so there's that, but there's also the injuries that have hampered him. So you really haven't been able to see Jadeveon Clowney full go. But to your point, Dave, he has done some good things, some grunt work inside in the interior of the line. He's not just an edge rusher. The metrics say that he can pop inside and do a nice job against the run. And that, of course, isn't sexy. So I could see where Clowney is overrated, because really the performance, the consistent performance, hasn't matched the hype that he had coming out of college.